You're watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reactions.
There we go. Gives it another quiet Sunday afternoon at the fire and looking out the window. But there you go. If you believe that, you believe in anything. So, as I do. So it finished at Rugby Park today. Kilmarnock 2, Celtic 3, and the game at Ibrox just finished between Rangers and Hearts, and Rangers won out 4-2. Motherwell won 2-0 early on against Aberdeen, and Graham, before I even opened up the screen, Paul left lots of comments about the game, so we'll get to them later on. Indeed, get your comments coming in. Can I get my voice back? That'll be helpful. So joined tonight, as always, by the man that wears the Hearts colours, Graham. Graham, how are you?
I'm all right. Disappointed, but still a long way to go. The season's not over by a long shot.
Yep. No, it was a brilliant game of football today. Obviously, we'll get to the Kilmarnock game in a wee bit, and we'll get to the rest of the games maybe tomorrow, because we've got a lot to talk about today. So, yeah, I mean, where do you start with that one, Graham? Because obviously, I was watching the Celtic game today, and I thought, yeah, okay, a game of two halves, and I thought the Rangers Hearts game would be a bit more kind of quieter, but yeah, it lived up to the billing nicely. It was like a basketball. It was like a basketball game at times.
Yeah, it was a bit. I mean, I thought Hearts actually started all right. We get that early goal with Mark Leonard, and you think, oh, we've got a wee chance here. But when you go to Glasgow, Celtic and Rangers, and you take the lead, you've got to hold it for a lot longer than that. We didn't even manage to last 5 minutes without conceding a goal. Defensively, I think very rarely this season have I seen Hearts as poor as that defensively. I thought defensively Hearts were terrible for most of that game. I know Rangers will look at the 2 goals that they lost and think they could do better, but all 4 goals we lose are really poor defensively. I still think we carry the threat going forward, but if you can't defend, you're gonna have real difficulties. I mean, I can't believe we have let Chermiti score a hat-trick. I think he's dreadful, and I've said that for months and months. And he's now managed to score 4 goals against Hearts. Why do we make really good players, really poor players, look like that? Honestly, it looked like Prem Ronaldo tonight. Defensively, just awful. But listen, it's one of these games. I think Rangers did deserve a balance of play. I think I'm not going to say Hearts went up for it, but I just think Rangers you could see how much that meant to them. They knew they had to win. You know, with that 5-point gap that we had, they really had to win. And I thought they came out all guns firing. And fair play to them. You know, they've got the win. It's a big win for them. But as I said to you before we came on, we still have that 2-point gap with winnable games to come. So there's a long way to go yet.
Regan's joined us today. Regan, gives a quiet day, gives a quiet Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, great day of football. My phone's been on airplane mode all afternoon, so I don't get disturbed. It's been absolutely brilliant to watch, Michael. I mean, what a day of football to actually watch and take all in. I mean, I was going to go to the pub, but then I thought I missed talking to you guys. But I mean, it was just brilliant. I mean, fair play to John Jules. What the 2 goals he took, very, very good. The first one especially. Second one, I don't know what Schmeichel's doing. But fair play to Kilmarnock. I did find it hilarious that obviously you did hear the Kilmarnock manager when the Celtic players are getting interviewed. I did find that quite funny. But overall, I thought that Rangers and Hearts game was a great game to watch. I felt like, always in the back of my mind, I felt like in terms of even when Hearts went 2-1 up, I still felt the Rangers were kind of piling on the pressure. So I think it's probably a fair result, but what a day of football.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, you must have been confident going into the game to get Graham at Ibrox, but You knew that it was going to be kind of like backs to the wall.
Well, I knew Rangers would have most of the ball because they're at home. And like I said, they had to win. They had the crowd behind them. I knew they'd have most of the ball. But I just thought to get that early goal with Mark Leonard, it's a great finish as well. Poor play from Rangers defensively, but great goal. And like I said, I think when you get an early goal at Ibrox and Celtic Park, you've got to hold on to it for as long as you can. And we don't do that. We last 3 minutes before we concede the goal. And again, it's so poor defensively. I mean, down that left-hand side, Swallow makes a couple of great saves. I don't know what Steinwender's doing. How he managed to score that own goal, I do not know. Just put it behind for a corner or do something, but not that. Just so poor defensively. And then again, when you get 2-1 up, fantastic goal from Cledo Braga. That header's exceptional. And again, you think, right, hold on to it. And we'll last 9 minutes this time. But it's just defensively, that is the worst we've been. I'm a huge fan of Craig Halkett. I think he's been great this season. That's probably one of his poorest games this season. I don't know why he dives in for that second goal. Stay on your feet, and Tremiti doesn't score it. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was strange.
It was a bit like a basketball game. You are right. It was kind of up and down and kind of ebbed and flowed. I don't think the quality was great, but I think there were things that we got wrong today, mainly defensively. I think we had a threat going forward, and I think we could have maybe towards the end snatched something before that fourth goal. But just for me, the frustration is how poor we're defensively. Because most of the season we've been pretty reliable, but that's the worst I've seen for a long time.
But were you surprised at the Hearts' performance to Gay Reagan?
Not really, because I felt like Rangers being at home, they're probably going to dominate the ball. I felt as soon as Hearts went 2-1 up, I thought, right, well, I think from Hearts' point of view right now, they just need to stay in the match for as long as possible, because Rangers at that point, as soon as Hearts went 2-1 up, it seemed as if Rangers were sort of dominating chances. So I feel like Hearts needed to probably get to half time 2-1 up, Graham.
Yeah, it's like I said, you have to hold on to the lead. You know, we could have got to half time 2-1 up. I think maybe the game changes, but we don't do that. I still think there were times that we could have been more composed in the ball, could have got a bit more possession, but we didn't do it. I mean, I think today really showed that we really missed Cammy Devlin and Lawrence Shankland. There is obviously no doubt that those two could have been massive misses, but I think middle of the park, we could have done with someone like Devlin in there. Just that kind of willingness to put his foot in and get a hold of the ball. We didn't have that today. I thought Mark Leonard was all right, to be fair, at times. I thought he was decent, especially second half. But there's just that lack of composure at times that I think needed to get a foot in the ball and just play a few passes and just take the atmosphere out of Ibrox a little bit. We didn't do that. And as soon as Rangers get that third goal in the second half, you think, well, that's probably it now. That's probably it done. But it's frustrating. It is frustrating to have lost that game today, because I don't think Rangers are a great side by any means. You know, fair play to Danny Rowley, he's done well, but I don't think that Rangers side is particularly fantastic. And I think we've let them off the hook today.
Yeah, I think in general, probably the Hearts, the Hearts result today probably opens it up for the whole league. I think it's going to be an incredible last 10 matches, Graham. I mean, you look at Hearts' next two fixtures, you'd probably say at least 4 points. Aberdeen at home and Falkirk at home. So you're probably thinking...
I think it needs to be 6. We need to be taking 6 points from those, and especially considering the fact that I think when we play Aberdeen, I think the following day Rangers play Celtic. So there's going to be points dropped in that game. So I think we need to win. I think of our next 6 games, I think it is 4 are at home. We need to win all of those. And our home form's been really good. We've not lost at home this season. I think, yes, you have to take it one game at a time and look at that Falkirk game next week, which will be difficult. But I think our home games, we have to be taking full points from all of those.
The other thing as well is Celtic obviously are 3 points behind Hearts, but Celtic's also got that match in hand as well. So it's probably a good thing for Celtic as well that even if they do get beat Ibrox, then they're still going to be 3 points behind Hearts. So I think
as well, you look at the amount of games that Celtic have got coming up. They've got the 2 European games against Stuttgart. They'll have the cup game against Rangers. They've got a lot of difficult games coming up, which will stretch that squad. So it is. I've said it for weeks and months. I have never ever thought Hearts will win the league. I've never ever thought that, and I still haven't changed my mind on that. But we have to take into perspective just how far we've done this season. Start of the season, I've said this previously. Start of the season, my aim was third place European football. To be sitting still in February, top of the league, 2 points clear, with what I think are winnable games to come, we are still right in this.
Are you starting to dream, Graham? I know you're saying there you were thinking at the start of the season, but there's only 10 games to go now.
No, I probably won't start dreaming until we are about 25 points ahead. Then I might start dreaming. Now, I think it's still too early for me. There's still too many games to go. There's still a lot of twists and turns. I've said this on my own TikTok page. There's a lot of twists and turns still to come in this title race. I think this could be, if we are still up there, come the split, if we're ahead or even a couple of points behind, then it's going to be very, very interesting, because our record after the split is not particularly fantastic. And we'll obviously have to play Rangers, Celtic, probably Falkirk, Hibs, Motherwell. Difficult games to come, but you have to take it one game at a time. I'm looking now ahead to that Falkirk game at home next week. We win that and go, back to 5 points clear of Rangers. I mean, it's still a lot to play for.
Yeah, and I think in general, I think this is probably the best top 6 teams as well. If you look at even Falkirk yesterday, Falkirk go 2-1 up, and then they got a guy sent off. I think Falkirk will be in the top 6, no problem. I don't think Aberdeen are going to mount a challenge now. I think Aberdeen are rotten, to be honest with you. So I think that if you look at the actual top 6 matches, I think every match is going to be so close to call, because look at the Falkirk matches against Rangers. Falkirk drew 0-0 with Rangers at Ibrox, and drew 1-1 with Rangers at Falkirk as well. Falkirk, they got beat 1-0 by Celtic. You know, so I think it's going to be close, Graham. I don't think you can actually go into the match. You can go, yeah, that's definitely 3 points for Celtic. You know, like what previous split where you're going, yeah, 3 points there, 3 points there, 3 points there. I don't think you can really do that this time.
No, I've said it already. I think it's been an incredible season. There's been so many twists and turns, so many amazing stories, likes of Motherwell, likes of Falkirk. It's been incredible. And obviously, as a Hearts fan, I'm loving it. And I think all you've got to do is look at the fact that folk in England, you've got TV channels, news channels, talking about this title race. When has that happened before? Most people outside Scotland don't actually care. But the amount of times this is getting talked about, it is huge, huge news. And I don't like agreeing with Chris Boyd, but he said it at the Hearts St Mirren game a couple of weeks ago. He said that this is the weakest Hearts will be. We'll get stronger. Now, yes, so will Rangers and Celtic, but we'll get stronger. And I actually found myself agreeing with Chris Boyd, which I don't like doing, but he is right. So it's been an absolutely amazing title race. I think it's been fantastic, and there's still a long way to go yet. I don't think you could call it. I don't think anyone could genuinely hand on heart say who's going to win this league, because there's still so many games to go.
I'm actually intrigued how the SPFL do it if it goes down to the last 2 games. I mean, how do they do the fixtures?
Well, I pray to God that Hearts and Hibs is not one of those last 2 fixtures, because I couldn't handle that if it is.
Because see, like usually, Graham, they try and avoid Celtic and Rangers to play each other so that the titles are already won. But what happens if it's like 2 games to go and Celtic go and Rangers go to Celtic Park? It's going to be crazy.
I don't even want to think about that yet. Let's get to the split and then see what happens after that.
I mean, Graham, you've got the small advantage next week of playing first, because obviously Celtic and Rangers are playing on a Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's why I think these next 2 home games are massive, that we take 6 points out of them, to put the pressure back on Rangers and Celtic. I mean, I think next week Celtic play Hibs at Celtic Park, a game they'll probably win, and Rangers go to Livingston. Rangers go to Livingston, a Livingston team that cannot buy a win this season. So I think next week, again, every game is massive. Every game is a cup final right now. We just have to keep on trying to win. You know, yes, today will be disappointing for Derek McInnes and the players, but the one thing I will say about McInnes is, after any defeat or any victory, he's been very calm. He's never been too up or too down. He doesn't get too negative after the defeat. He'll be the same today. There'll be massive frustration. I've seen it already with Hearts fans saying, "Oh, is that it?" No, of course it's not. We're still 2 points clear. And we don't now play Rangers, Celtic, or Hibs until after the split. So I am still very calm about this. Probably the calmest I've been for a while. I'm frustrated today, mainly because I thought defensively we were really poor, but I'm still very calm.
I think if you said to any Hearts fan as well that you're actually going to be Shetland and Devlin are going to be out for a while, and you're still going to be 2 points clear, and then potentially they're going to be back in the next few weeks. I think a Hearts fan would have taken that as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Shanklin's still a bit longer. He's not due back until probably the end of March. We've only got 2 games in March anyway. But Devlin might be back for not next week, but the Aberdeen game potentially, which would be huge. So, yeah, I think getting him back would be massive because Devlin's one of our best players this season. And, of course, you're going to miss a guy like Lawrence Shankland. Seen him in the studio today. I wish he was on the park. But it's one of these unfortunate things. You know, like I said, I think there'll be a real frustration today that we didn't defend well enough. But now we go into next week. We've got a week to prepare. We'll be back on the training ground, obviously, this week, getting ready for Falkirk. And as I say, every game's a cup final. Win next week, you then go back 5 points clear of Rangers to put the pressure right back on them next week. So the next 2 weeks are huge.
I feel like Ian Crocker mentioned about 200 times, but he did mention it that Rangers were 13 points behind about 25 times, Graham. Do you think that played a bit of the players' minds today?
No, I don't think so. I mean, also, Rangers spent £12 million in January. And I think all those players that they signed for £12 million played today. You know, that's going to have a massive impact on the playing squad. I just think, like I keep on saying, for me, the biggest thing today was defending. I thought defensively Hearts were poor. And I'd be surprised if McInnes doesn't mention that in his after-match press conference, how poor we were defensively. We didn't deal with Rangers defensively at all. And like I've said, I don't think that's a great Rangers team. Yes, Danny Rowe's done a good job, but I don't think that's a great Rangers team.
No, it's not a good Rangers team. I completely agree with you. I think Rangers are awful. Same with Celtic. I think Celtic and Rangers are both really poor. I bet you a long delay by Michael here. I don't know what he's up to. Michael, you there? I think Michael's frozen. He's put the heat on. But Graham, I was going to ask you about the match today then, right? See, in terms of that, then I suppose the big thing for the players is that they can bounce back very quickly.
Well, I think we've shown we've only lost 3 league games up until today, and every game we've lost, we've bounced back. So I'm expecting exactly the same thing the next couple of weeks, especially considering the fact the next 2 games are at home. But I thought it was a bold move from McInnes because he played like a 4-3-3, and he played a Jew, a record signing, and he played Islam Chesnikov, who I thought were both dreadful. Yeah, now, I don't like writing players off. I don't tend to do that. But when you play £1.7 million for a midfielder like a Jew, you expected better. I thought he was awful. He was miles off the pace. Chesnikov couldn't get into the game at all. I put on X that those two both have to come off at half time, and they did. But the players that they brought on, I was quite surprised. I would have brought on Matto and Magnusson, but they were just so poor. I mean, I'm hoping for a lot better the next few weeks. But I just thought, you know, to score 2 goals at Ibrox and come away losing 4 goals is massively disappointing. But like I said, this shouldn't derail what's been a very good season for us so far.
Do you think, I know this is a funny thing to say, Graham, but do you think Hearts go too early in the game?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you want to score early, going anywhere you go, but especially Ibrox and Celtic Park. My frustration, like I said, is we didn't hold it for long enough. 3 minutes later, it's 1-1. I think if we hold out for a bit longer, you would probably sense the Rangers crowd getting a bit frustrated, the anxiety would start to show, but it didn't happen because we didn't last long enough. So that's the frustration for me. The defending for that first goal was so poor. As I say, what Steinbrenner's doing, I do not know. Just clear lines and he slices in his own net. It's so poor. But as I said, I'm not a manager, but I think for me as a manager, that'll be my biggest frustration today is how poor we're defensively.
Yeah, I mean, Graham, I mean, the actual the goal by Mark Leonard was a great goal, though.
It is. It's poor from Rangers, but that finish from Leonard is top quality. To put that top corner past Butland, who's got no chance, it's a great finish. And at that point, you are thinking, oh, actually, could we do it again here? Beat Rangers twice already, won at Ibrox, but yeah, that didn't quite happen, did it?
And I think the actual positive for Hearts is that over the past 4 matches against Rangers, they've actually took all the points. So I think it was always going to come to an end. But I don't think this is a moment where Hearts fans should get panicky or start to worry, because at the end of the day, as long as they beat the like Falkirk and Livingston and teams like that, Aberdeen. I mean, Aberdeen are rotten, so they've got a chance against Aberdeen. Falkirk, they obviously be disappointed after going 2-1 up and then getting a man sent off to then losing the match 3-2. So I think that both of the matches, probably if you'd have handpicked them, you'd have probably took that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think today is obviously a massive kick in the teeth, but there'll be some Hearts fans that will be now thinking, well, that's it done. And it's not. Like, it's clearly not. We've still got a 2-point advantage with winnable games to come. Now, of course, you've got to win them, but they are winnable. And like I say, we don't play Rangers, Celtic and Hibs now until after the split. So we've got games that we can definitely look at and think, right, that's 3 points there. And I think if we can win our home games, that would be absolutely huge. I think at home we've been very good this season. But today, yes, it will be a frustration. And there will be a lot of Hearts fans pulling my group chat right now, having a go at people and saying, oh, that's it done now. The season's finished. It's not. There's a long way to go. I still think Rangers and Celtic will drop points as well. Of course, you've got the Rangers Celtic game in a couple of weeks. They'll still drop points. There's a long way to go. I think we have come such a long way this season. For a team that finished bottom 6 last season, I did a prediction video start the season, and I said Hearts will finish 3rd. And I got laughed at by folks saying, how can you finish 3rd when you finished 7th last season? Because that's football. Things change very quickly.
And
I think it's been a fantastic season so far.
Yeah, sorry, Graham. And obviously you've got obviously you're playing Celtic at Celtic Park and you're playing Rangers at Tynecastle as well. So there's matches there for you as well if you really do think you're going to go in and win the league. I think for me, though, I would now say that Rangers for me are the team that's going to go and win the league. I just think Celtic are scraping by, but it's going to their teeth. They're very jammy. They're not the best squad at the moment. I mean, they were very lucky to win that game, I thought, in terms of the scoreline today. It could have been 3-0 at half time, and they'd have been out of it. But I think it shows great mentality from Martin O'Neill and the players. The fact that they've, over the last 6 days to go and win 2 of the matches, I did find it actually quite funny that Neil actually brought it up and said he didn't know where they got 7 minutes. Well, actually watching the game, and the commander player was down for 3 minutes during stoppage time. So surely that's about the actual time got added on. I'm sure he was angry and stuff like that, but I'm sure the time got added on correctly. But also what I would say is I wouldn't be surprised if this title race goes to the very last match of the season. Genuinely.
God, I hope not. I couldn't handle the stress of that. I've been very calm, like I said, for weeks and months. I couldn't handle that. I think I'll be watching from behind the sofa if that happened. But I think, in Celtic are saying that they're winning, they're scraping by. It's that phrase that gets used quite a lot. That's what champions do. They find a way to win. And Celtic are doing that. Yes, it's maybe not been pretty, but that's what they do. That's why they win so many leagues, because they keep going to the last minute, and that's what they did again.
Graham, I was going to ask you as well, what were you happy to see Celtic still in European football? Because obviously Sunday, as I said, they play Hibs, but also they've got an extra game as well. And depending if they get through to the next round, what is a big if at the moment. But are you really happy to see Celtic playing catch up for the next maybe like 2 games?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if we can win, again, if we can win, then it puts the pressure right back on Celtic and Rangers. I think Celtic going to Europe, obviously for the Scottish football, it's great. But for Hearts, the more extra games that Celtic play, the better. I think it's actually benefit to us. And there's going to be games, I said, that Celtic are going to drop points, and so will Rangers. Like I said, this season's still got a long way to go yet. There's still plenty of points to be won and lost. And I think as well, one of the biggest factors for me, now they won't win the league, but one of the biggest factors for me, I think someone who could have a big say on this title race is Motherwell. They are playing some fantastic football. They will still have to play Hearts, Celtic and Rangers again. I think they could have a huge say in where this title race goes, because going to Fir Park is not easy, as we've all found out, and away from home especially. The football Motherwell play is it's exceptional. Anywhere they go, they keep the ball on the ground, they try and get the ball, passing it about, and they've got some really good players as well. That result for Motherwell today, hardly a surprise. But I think they could have a huge say in this title race.
Reagan, I'm going to make a statement, and I might eat humble pie at the end, but we get no way ironic if Celtic goes to Fir Park against Motherwell and won the game in the last game of the season with Mark and Neil and Charles.
It would be some sort of justice for 2003, but I think if you said to Martin O'Neill, I think Motherwell the last day of the season, I think he would tell you no thanks. Because Motherwell are a great team to watch, and apart from my Partick Thistle and my Queen's Park teams, Motherwell are my favourite team to watch this season.
And Tottenham as well, by the way. Just to add into the mix.
Graham, I mean, to watch Tottenham. Come on, mate. No, this year.
Oh, no, this year. No, they're not.
Graham, I was going to ask you as well, but you must be disappointed also today, because maybe not one of the Hearts players got any pass mark for me. But I mean, in previous weeks, they've been brilliant.
I think there's probably maybe 2 or 3 players that I think escape criticism. Well, Clyde O'Braga worked his socks off and obviously got his goal again. I think he was decent. I think Mark Leonard's had a decent impact with the goal, a decent second half as well. Harry Milne worked hard. But again, for me, it's defensively. I thought defensively Hearts were so poor. And as I said, Rangers will look at the 2 goals they lost and think we could do better. But all 4 goals we lose are avoidable. And that's where I'm frustrated. Would I say angry? Probably, but more frustrated. Because one thing we have been very good at this season is defending. And today, it really let us down. Like Stuart Finlay and Craig Halkett have been a really good partnership, but today, I thought they were poor. And Michael Steinwender was dreadful. I mean, seriously, I keep going back to that first goal. I don't know what he's doing. It's just so avoidable. And this is where my frustration lies.
I mean, it was a great...
I know, Reagan, that we've been on the show now and we've been talking about Hearts, but I mean, you must give full credit to Rangers at home and getting all 3 points.
Especially because Rangers dropped points during the weekend against Motherwell. Well, they probably should have lost the game from what I've seen. I mean, Stephen O'Donnell was looking like prime David Silva on Tuesday night. So some of the passes that guy was playing, I don't know what Bertu Askew is saying to the players before the matches, but that guy's a top drawer manager.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, Danny Rowe has kind of like turned it around, Graham. I know you don't want to talk about it today after a defeat, but he's doing a brilliant job. Similar to Celtic. They're not playing well, but they're grinding out results, and I suppose that's what kind of like champions do.
Well, let's be honest, nobody was going to be as bad as Russell Martin, was he? I mean, Roll has turned a pretty poor squad round, and he has signed in January. Let's not forget they spent £12 million in January. So they have spent a lot of money in January, more than Celtic and Hearts have done. So when you sign a lot of players for a lot of money, you're going to have a bit of quality in it. And I thought, fair play to Rangers. Like I said before, Rangers deserved that. I thought they were up for it. They showed some decent stuff. And obviously, Chimiti gets his hat-trick. He might never score another goal again this season, but for some reason, they love scoring against Hearts.
Yeah, I mean, Chimiti, for me, I was actually, from Hearts' point of view, I was thinking, well, that's probably the best news for Hearts, because I felt like if you're looking at I thought that obviously Chimiti missed that 1-1 way the Motherwell shot stopper in Tuesday night. So I was thinking, right, well, that's a positive from a Hearts point of view. But I don't think he's a great striker, but fair play to him. He's scored a few goals.
I mean, that's going to be quite interesting how Hearts bounce back from this, Graham, because obviously they've got a week off now and they don't play till next Saturday, and also they will want to get back to winning ways, but get revenge from Falkirk in the Scottish Cup.
Yeah, and I think we have been good at bouncing back this season. The 3 games that we've lost before today, we have won all of them after that. So I think we will bounce back. I'm expecting a big reaction next week, being at home. I'll be at the game. It's actually my son's birthday. My son's 14 at that birthday next week, so I'll be there with him. So hopefully it'll be a nice little birthday wish for him to actually win the game.
I suppose I better say, Graham, I hope Hearts win next Saturday then for your son.
Well, he doesn't know this yet, and he won't watch this, so it's fine. But I'm trying to get a birthday.
Oh, that's terrible, Graham.
I know. I'm trying to get a birthday message put up on the screen for him at halftime, which will really embarrass him. But hopefully it's a decent birthday for him, and 3 points for Hearts would be lovely. But I know it's going to be difficult. Like, Falkirk have been excellent this season. I talked to him about the stories with Motherwell and Falkirk. They've been excellent. They are a good side. But this is a game that Hearts now need to go and win. If we win next week, go 5 points clear of Rangers, it's a huge, huge boost. I mean, sadly, I do think Rangers will beat Livingston. But all we can do is take it one game at a time, which we have, to be fair, we have done. We haven't looked too far ahead of ourselves. But win next week, and today's forgotten about.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that over the past couple of weeks, like we're talking about today, talking about some other, I mean, you have missed Shankland.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone's going to miss a striker like Lawrence Shankland. He's such a big player for Hearts. But I actually think the biggest miss has been Cammy Devlin. I think he has been, for me, probably... I was thinking about this earlier. I think when Player of the Season for Hearts comes out in a month or so, there's a lot of players that could win it. But I think Cammy Devlin's been fantastic this season. He's... Obviously, we know what he can do off the ball. He's worked great off the ball, but he's been really good on the ball as well. I think he was a huge miss today, rather than Lawrence Shankland. But again, you are going to miss those 2 players, but hopefully Devlin's back in a couple of weeks. We'll have Shankland back end of March, hopefully for a run for the title race. But yeah, I mean, I just thought the players that stepped up today, some of them didn't do enough. And I'm mainly talking about Chesnikoff and Ajew. I thought they were terrible.
See, when you're talking about there, Graham, about Devlin potentially being the Hearts player of the season, I mean, I'm thinking about the overall Premier League player of the year. And for me, I'd probably put in Devlin and Justin Motherwell. I think they 2 have been the standout players for me.
Yeah, Elijah Just has been great. I mean, even look at the Cledo Braga. I think that's his 14th goal of the season this season for a guy that signed for pennies in the summer. He's been outstanding as well. Harry Milne, again, been fantastic. Maybe wasn't great today, but he's been outstanding as well. There's so many players that probably could be considered player of the season this season. Again, still a long way to go. Anything could happen.
What is it, Graham? Sorry, Graham, is it usually 4 players that usually get the...
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. And I mean, I think you've got to put in Craig Gordon in there just because of how old he is, and also that brilliant save up at Dundee, Graham.
Yeah, I don't think Gordon Brendan, he's not played enough. I mean, that save was phenomenal. I said at the time, he's the only goalkeeper that could make that save. It was just phenomenal to get us 3 points there. That again, that could be massive towards the end of the season.
That save could win you the league.
I mean, it was phenomenal because you watch it again and again and again, which I had done at the time, and you think I don't know how he's managed to keep that out because it looked like it was behind him. It was just, I don't think any other keeper in the league makes that save. But that's Craig Gordon for you. I mean, I've said it so many times before. He's my favourite ever Hearts goalkeeper. He's just incredible.
And I saw Rangers rigging brilliant 3 points, and now that they've got a whole week to prepare for Livingston on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, a massive week for Rangers. 4 points out of 6. They'll be disappointed, I'd imagine, to draw against Motherwell, but it was probably the best result for them, because what I've seen from the actual match was that Motherwell should have won the game. So I think Rangers will be happy that they're still in the race, and that's the most important thing for them.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of breeds confidence as well, Graham. You know, I mean, obviously, Rangers won a no-win situation because obviously last week they won 8-0 against Queen's Park. But it's one of these ones where the Hearts fans and the Celtic fans will say, aye, well, it's only Queen's Park. But if Queen's Park beat Rangers again, they'll be saying, well, you know, a championship team again coming to Ibrox and winning. So they were in a kind of no-win situation there, Rangers. I mean, obviously it was a brilliant score and they played well, dominated the game, but I mean, I thought like it was in a kind of no-win situation.
Yeah, I think for any Premier League team, when you're playing against a lower league side, it is a no-win situation. If you don't win comfortably, it's a shock. If you win comfortably, it's not a shock. So it's one of these things that Rangers, either way, they just had to turn up last week and do a professional job, and they did do that. You know, they didn't take the foot off the gas when they went 3 or 4-0 up. And fair play to them. It's a big win. That Ryan Ndidi got a couple of goals as well. But I think the biggest thing for Rangers will be that they didn't beat Motherwell in midweek. If they'd won that and they won today, obviously, they'd have been top of the league. So that'll be a huge frustration. They haven't beat 10 men. But like I said, fair play to them today. They deserve to win the game. Fair play to Trimiti gets a hat-trick. But there's still a lot of pressure on them, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so final score from Ibrox today, Rangers 4, Hearts 2. So let's go over to another dull game, Reagan at Rugby Park today between Kilmarnock and Celtic. Not a lot happened in this game, actually. Only the game finished 3-2 to Celtic. I think the best way to describe this, guys, for me would be it was a game of two halves, and the subs made the difference today for Celtic, Reagan.
Aye, big time. I mean, I think Celtic in the first half were absolutely terrible, but fair play to the home team, because they could have been at least up by 3 goals. So I think obviously Neil and Billy will be disappointed, but I think overall, when they look back at it, John Jules looks some player, and Graham as well. That guy just looks, every time he went forward, it looked as if he could score. And then he also had a free kick when it was 2-2, where he probably should have scored as well. Sorry, I don't know if Mikey's frozen.
Yeah, no, I was waiting for Graham to come back in there. But anyway, yeah, so I mean, Kilmarnock must be kicking themselves because that was their chance to beat Celtic to get Graham. And as I say, I mean, Martin O'Neill made the subs at the right time at the beginning of the second half, because you were thinking, well, if O'Neill goes out with the same team in the second half, Kilmarnock could score a quick goal, and you never know, the title race could be all over for Celtic today.
Yeah, I mean, first half, fair play to Kelly. I thought they were excellent. And I think the biggest thing for me was how easy it was to get at Celtic. I talked about Hearts defensively. I thought Celtic were terrible. And the lack of kind of, for me, it just looked like Celtic attitude in that first half was really poor. There were so many people that just didn't look like they were actually trying. Nobody was running enough, running back the way especially. The amount of times that there was kind of overlaps from Kilmarnock and no Celtic player was near them. And the 2 goals are so poor defensively. Fair play to Kilmarnock. You know, both goals are taken so well. I mean, that second goal, I don't know why Schmeichel dives with his wrong hand. It was such a weird goal to concede. And then you're thinking, right, can Kilmarnock build on this or keep it tight second half? Fair play to Janetsky, great goal. And then you kind of think after that, you were just waiting for Celtic to score. But I know I've listened to Neil McCann after the game and he said he's angry about the 7 minutes. I would be more angry at Dom Thomas because I think with a minute to go, I don't know what he's doing. He tries to let the ball go out when it wasn't going out. Yeah. And then Celtic obviously go and score a minute after that. What is he doing? Defend the situation. But they don't defend it. And that's where the goal comes from. I'd be more angry at my own team than I would be about the 7 minutes getting added on.
Yeah, because as I said, Graham, John Jules got injured in this just as the 7 minutes got brought up. So I think it's I think it's only right that the actual 7 minutes got added. And I was actually looking as well. Celtic scored in 6 minutes and 29 seconds. So I think in terms of what he's saying there, I think it's just more of emotion rather than anything else. Because they probably seen the first half that they probably should have scored a third goal, and then that would have probably seen the game away.
Yeah, I mean, when that 7 minutes goes up, you have to concentrate. And Kilmarnock just didn't concentrate in that last minute of the game, and that's what's cost them the game. Yes, you can be, as every fan is, when a goal gets conceded in extra time, in injury time, you do get angry. But concentrate. And Kilmarnock don't do that. And I don't know what Tom Thomas is doing. Just clear the ball out the park and you don't concede the goal. I think it didn't look great for John Jules either going down with that injury. It looked a bad one. Hopefully that's not too bad. But he was a right handful throughout that whole game. I didn't know much about him when he signed, but he looks a real handful.
I mean, his first goal, Graham, was brilliant.
It is a great goal, but again, Celtic defensively are so soft. There was a moment, I think, before half-time. Was it just before half-time? I think there's I can't remember who it is. Is it Hugel or is it Finlay Curtis? I can't remember who it is. Turns Liam Scales in the box and gets his shot just wide. It's so soft. Yeah, I thought Scales and Trusty first half were terrible for Celtic.
Yeah, especially Trusty. I think there was 2 points in the first half where Trusty kind of misjudged the ball as well.
I mean, I know it's early days. I know he got the winner against Dundee, but I didn't think that Adamu looked up to much either.
No, I think he reminds me of Timo Weir when he was at Celtic. He sort of plugged the hole for when he was there, but I don't think he's sort of guy that Celtic will spend money on, because I think the actual buyout clause is like 7 million. I don't think Celtic will spend money on him.
I mean, the thing is, Graham, as well, that Kamal could have been, could have let's go at half time because Celtic didn't really have a chance. I would maybe say Maida at half chance in the first half, but all I've got here is Kamal cut a shot. John Jules, what a find for Kamal, and I think that would be maybe the difference between Kamal staying up or making the playoffs this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said weeks ago when Neil McCann got the job that I thought it was a risk. I just didn't think it was going to work. But he has got something like that team. And of course, they're starting to score goals now. But if you concede goals like that, I mean, as I say, Janetsky's goal is a great goal. But the other 2 goals are avoidable. And I think he'll be disappointed with his own team defensively. He may not say that publicly, but I think he'll be disappointed defensively. But there is something about that Kilmarnock team under Neil McCann. But it depends how long John Jules is out for. If he's out for a few weeks, that's a huge blow. I mean, I think Livingston are down. I think there's no doubt about that. And I think it is probably between Kilmarnock and St Mirren for that playoff place. And at the start of the season, I don't think anybody would have thought that. I mean, I think I said ages ago, I thought Dundee were going to go down. I don't know now. I think it is between Kilmarnock and St Mirren. I mean, St Mirren are having such a weird season. Win the League Cup, finish top 6 3 times in a row, but this season their league form has been awful. I mean, they have been so poor in the league.
I mean, I texted Robbie yesterday, Graham, and I said that obviously Mike O'Neill got appointed Blackburn manager, and I said I feel like this is the sort of Stephen Robinson end of it, end of his time in Scottish football, because I think he'll be the new manager of Northern Ireland as well.
I mean, it would be. I don't think this will happen, but St Mirren could win the League Cup and get relegated in the same season. I mean, that would be spectacular collapse if that happened. I don't think it will, but that would be a spectacular collapse if that happened.
I mean, the only thing for me, I'm thinking about my party Thistle playing St Mirren in the playoffs. So I hope
Oh,
that's
listen to that, Graham, eh? My Packet Thistle, my Queen's Park,
I know
my
he's got a bit of a soft
Tottenham.
spot for these two, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think if you ask Reagan now, Graham, he would want to win. He would want Celtic, Cats, and Rangers to win the league.
I mean, the thing is, if Celtic play Partick Thistle or Queen's Park in a cup, who's he supporting?
Yeah.
I'm totally impartial, Graham.
It's saying like,
but I'll be at Partick Thistle versus Airdrie next weekend. I'll be there.
so that's a wee hint, Graham. It would want a spy. Look behind you, Reagan. You've got a spy in your room. There you go. So yeah,
I don't like spiders, Michael.
So that you won't be allowed back into the City Stadium again after that comment. So the second half, Graham, Martin O'Neill made the subs, and Celtic won the game, but they had to fight in the second half because Camargue was still in the game. You would say it 2-1, but when it went to 2 each, you thought, right, okay, that's Celtic's going to win here.
Yeah, I think as soon as Celtic get that goal back through Chinetsky, and it's a great goal, you can kind of sense Kilmarnock kind of sent a bit deeper. And as soon as they lose the second goal, then yeah, you knew it was going to happen. You knew that Celtic were going to score. Not they were going to score that late, but you knew it was coming. And that's why you make subs. You make them to make a difference. And Celtic subs made a difference again. You know, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, I think, is a really good signing. Obviously, he needs to work on his fitness a bit more, but that will come. Obviously, that goal last week. But you can see his quality. You know, I just think at times he thinks quicker than a lot of other folk on the park. And I think he will be a very good signing for Celtic. There's no doubt about that, because his ability is not in question.
See, in the first sort of 60 seconds of the match that he played, he sort of played a ball to Big Tam, and Big Tam just kind of shot wide. So that just kind of proved his quality in terms of flicking the ball at the sky and putting a ball with it as well. I think, genuinely for him, I think Celtic is a perfect place for him. I would even go as far to say that I think he could get a new contract in Celtic. I would even go as far to say that I believe that Oxlade-Chamberlain's got a better chance of getting a new contract than Schmeichel. There you go.
Yeah, well, that's a good. I mean, they have got the option to buy him, Graham.
It's a bold statement. I mean, like I said, if you can get Oxlade-Chamberlain playing to the level he's capable of, he will be a very good signing because he has that quality. We've all seen how good he can be with the clubs that he's played at. And to come to Celtic, you know, Martin O'Neill said that he had numerous other offers and he chose Celtic. So again, that probably shows the pull of Martin O'Neill as well, that he's managed to get a guy like that in as a free agent. So fair play to Celtic. It's a big, big signing. And going forward, he could be a difference maker.
Graham Happy House is saying on YouTube that Mirren could do the Cup double, and they wouldn't be the first things to do that. So there you go. Yeah, and he says watching the game, Scottish football, and it's amazing. They have to sell all better. But who makes Italian football on BBC Alba when you've got Sky Sports on the Sunday? But anyway, that's enough about that.
12. That was 12 goals in the 3 games today.
Yep, brilliant entertainment.
And yet, what is it? They always show these kind of English games and call it Super Sunday, and they're usually dreadful games of football.
Awful.
Yeah, well, I call that Graham when they advertise Super Sunday, it's Super Sunday, but when they've got games up in Scotland, they just call it Sunday, as well. So that old game, you know,
I
go,
think
mm,
I think in general though, Graham, if you look at the Premier League in England this year, it's been so boring. Nobody's actually gave
mm.
nobody's actually gave Arsenal a challenge. You look at Chelsea, you look at your club Liverpool, you look at Tottenham, they've absolutely imploded. And you look at even clubs like Manchester City, they've dropped so many daft points as well.
I think something I've said it so many times, Scottish football gets a kicking from a lot of folk. And yes, the
Mhm.
quality might not always be there, but I tell you what, the passion, the commitment, the attitude, the desire, give me that any day over watching one of the English Premiership games this season. It's far, far better watching it.
Graham, Martin and Omega subs at half time, and you're talking about the strength and depth in the squad. I think, like, it's awfully early to call it yet, right? But that's a mark of champions where he can go to the bench and he can bring on, what is it, 3 subs and win the game.
Yeah, well, it's, as he called him earlier, Big Tam, which just makes me think of still game whenever you hear the word Tam getting made, even though he's not that small. But you're bringing on Chance Vara, you're bringing on Oxley Chamberlain, bringing on Chunetsky, and they're big players, they're big game players, and they've shown that again today. You look at Kilmarnock's bench, they didn't have that kind of quality to bring on, and it is kind of it probably is an envy of most teams in Scottish League when you look at the bench that Celtic had today, the players they can bring on and think, yeah, we don't have that kind of quality. We can't bring on an Oxley Chamberlain. We don't have that kind of quality. So it's about having difference makers in your team. That if you're not playing well, you're not winning, you can make a change like that and it makes a difference. And Celtic have got that. And that could be pivotal in this title race. I mean, if Celtic had lost today, it wouldn't have been over by any manner of means, but it would have been very difficult for Celtic to win the league if they'd lost today.
Where does Kilmarnock go from here, Reagan?
They go home and they have their dinner and then they come back next week.
That's
No,
like a Goggins stacking quote, by the way.
no,
Big Gordon Ramsay.
in general,
No,
I think in terms of Neil and Billy, I think they'll give the players probably 2 days off to kind of mull over what happened there, and then they'll move on to the match next week, hoping that they can pick up a big 3 points next week. I think if you actually look at what the job Neil McCann's done the last 3 matches, I mean, to beat Aberdeen's not a very not a very hard task at the moment. Sorry, Paul, but it's not
I
very
think he'll agree with you.
it's not a very hard task at the moment. And then they obviously a big match on Tuesday night against St Mirren. They go and win that game 4-3, and then obviously the match today. These are no, I'm a little bit fed up when folks say this, but I'm going to use the same term, right? These sort of matches don't define their season. Well, they sort of do because if they don't win them, then they're not going to be there. But I do get the point. And 6 points from 9 is a pretty good return if you're of the club down at Rugby Park as well, because I don't think you can really expect too much against Celtic as well. But I think I think the only disappointing thing, as I've said earlier, is that they probably should have went 3 goals up.
and as for Celtic, Reagan, they've got a big game now on Thursday night against Stuttgart, and I suppose that will give them a bit of confidence. But I mean, no disrespect to the difference between Scottish football and German football. I think you're going up a few levels now.
Yeah, Michael, I'm just glad I'm not going to be able to see it, because after that performance today, I've no after that performance today, I'm quite glad to get a break from watching Celtic for a wee bit. actually double booked myself on Thursday. I'm going to the Premier League darts in the Hydro, so I'll be there.
What's the point of that?
I booked that. I booked that about a year ago, so I'm going there. But I also booked my ticket for Celtic Park, so I've paid 28 quid for something that I not be there. But anyway, I think it'll be a hard game for Celtic. I think ultimately they'll probably get beat. But as I've just said there, these are not the matches that are going to define Celtic's season. It'll be when they play Hibs next Sunday and then play Rangers on. And you want to know something else, Graham? 2 weeks on Sunday, Rangers play Celtic, and it is Martin O'Neill's 74th birthday. So that would be some birthday present from Martin O'Neill.
So there you go. So yeah, so basically the final score from Rugby Park today, come out to Celtic 3, and talking about rugby, it gives me an excuse to say that we beat England yesterday again. As well. We beat them one more time, maybe we can keep them, or maybe just send them home. Before we talk about the other game, yeah, we did beat England yesterday, Reagan. So that was good. Before we talk about the other games, let's just tell you about a couple of shows coming up. On the 2nd of March, we've got a show about St. Johnson. Yes, who knew St. Johnson? And we've got Haskell and Alistair Blair coming on the show. He's good, wrote a book about St. Johnson. And we've got an interview with Adam Webb. So that'll be cool. And also, I would walk 500 miles, maybe not. On Wednesday night, we've got a special program with the man it's walking to the World Cup, Graham. And believe it or not, he leaves on Friday to the World Cup. Would you believe that?
You would think you would just take an Uber or something, wouldn't you? Why would you bother walking all that way?
Or helicopter.
I think you just taking the pew out of me. I mean, I can't walk 500 yards. Never mind 500 miles.
So that's on Wednesday night, 7:30. Craig Ferguson will be joining us as well.
That might be the funniest thing you've ever said, Reagan. That was good. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. And he'll be joining us about 7:30 on Wednesday. By the way, that's no why I said that, Reagan, right? I just want
don't think I'll be on Wednesday, Michael, because I'll be offended. You know, he's walking all that way and I can't contribute.
So that Wednesday night, yeah. As you can tell, Graham, the Glasgow Comedy Festival is coming up, and Reagan's about now because he's not at the he's not taking part in the festival this year. Maybe next year.
But I did see, Michael, that you might have got me and you a few tickets to somebody's show. Hopefully, you still got them in the pipeline?
I have got them in the pipeline, yeah. I need to get them out of the pipe, but I've got them somewhere. Yeah, back to the football. Final score, Paul, sorry to talk about this. Morrow to Aberdeen now. And Reagan, I was saying this to Graham, right, when I came on to open up the show, right, I had about, let me get this right now, I had about 3 comments from Paul Donaldson all arrived before we went on air. So I suppose I'm a nice guy, so I'll get to them. The rest getting in the nick here, guys. Fun enough. Aberdeen today. By the way, Paul, Reagan and myself and Graham, I don't think we saw any of the games. So, yep. And you can tell by that it was another poor performance by the Dons this afternoon. Before we get to the game, Graham, right, because I'm trying to pad out for time here because I've not saw the highlights, right? But were you surprised that they gave the job to Tony Dock back up there now?
Well, he's got the experience alongside obviously Peter Lever, and what I'm surprised about is they haven't appointed a proper manager yet. I mean, this has been on for absolute weeks. They need a manager in. You know, they just don't have a decent manager there. Peter Lever as an interim, fine. Tony Docherty is our experienced.
I think they're writing it off to the end of the season, from what I've been told.
I mean, that's a risk. That is a big risk doing that. I mean, I just think they need to get a proper manager in, and sooner rather than later, to assess that squad, see what he's working with, see who he wants to keep next season. I mean, how late are they going to leave this? I mean, Aberdeen in the league this season, yes, they won the Scottish Cup last season. Fantastic for them. Well played to them. But this season, they have been awful. You know, they are so poor. I talked to them about Hearts being so poor defensively today, but defensively, they are so easy to get at. They are just, I mean, Paul said it there, that players don't look like they care. I've not seen the game, but it seems like a lot of those Aberdeen players are just, I've chucked it. And that's unforgivable for me. That should never happen. For a team that won the Scottish Cup last season to be as poor as that, it's awful.
And don't forget, Graham, see in the last 2 or 3 months of the season as well this year, Aberdeen were rotten as well, and I think people like Paul Donaldson, they weren't expecting much in the final. So I think that final probably got in the way of what also was a pretty bad season as well.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, obviously, they started off really well last season with the manager. They did really well, had such a great start up at the top of the league. But then the league form kind of fell away, and they obviously won the Scottish Cup, which was massive for Aberdeen. But it probably did paper over the cracks a little bit towards the end of the season. And in this season, they've been awful. Like, they don't seem to have an identity. Like, I don't look at Aberdeen and think, right, what's their identity? I don't see it.
I mean, I've said this to you in the show, Graham. I know you've not been on for a while and all the rest of it, but I think I said this last season as well. When does Aberdeen fans start looking at Dave Cormack?
I think they probably are now, especially given the fact they've not got a manager in yet. You know, this has been on for ages. It's just, sometimes I think Aberdeen are run very well, but Dave Cormack's got to take a lot of the blame here. He should have had a manager in weeks ago to get a look at that squad, obviously have a proper transfer window in January, because they'll sign players in January the manager may not want. So it's been an absolute disastrous season. I mean, I can't remember how many points Aberdeen finished ahead of Hearts last season, but at the moment, we are on the 15th of February, we are 29 points ahead of Aberdeen. I mean, that's unbelievable. They've been so bad.
There we go. Paul Donaldson says Cormack is responsible for the club being in the mess it's in. And if it wasn't for the Scottish Cup, I think Dave Cormack would, well, Aberdeen fans would be demanding him to go.
I don't know about go, Michael, because he's putting his money in. It's not as if he's not putting money to the club. He's still putting a lot of money in. He's still buying them players. I think the recruitment needs to be looked at. I'm not so sure about this German guy that was. I'm not so sure he's the best recruitment guy. So I think that Aberdeen, the biggest thing Aberdeen need to sort, I don't think it's Dave Cormack. I think they need to sort their recruitment guy. I think also everybody used to go on about, oh, Alan Burrows is a great talker. He's brilliant. He does this and does that. But ever since he's been at Aberdeen, we've not really heard from him.
It's funny, I've thought about this ages ago. You only ever hear directors of football or whatever, or chairman and stuff, coming out when things are going well. You never hear them when things are going badly. They don't talk to the press. Remember, was it not a couple months ago, was it a year or so ago, Dave Cormack did that interview on Radio Scotland, and he got absolutely caned for it. I don't think he's spoken since.
Did you not do an interview at Easter Road, Graham, when Jim Googling it the sack and he was crying?
I remember that, actually, yeah. They need to get him back on the video again, see what his thoughts are.
Yeah, I might put a request in to come on the show and get Paul Donaldson on. That would be box office. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's weird to think them, right? Because you mentioned about St Mirren winning the Scottish the League Cup, right? And they might be in relegation battle, and the same thing has really happened to Aberdeen, albeit last season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're in any danger of getting relegated, but winning that Scottish Cup, like I said, I think papered over a lot of the cracks. You know, I don't think the league form was particularly great after that first few months of the season. They went really downhill. And I think had they not won that Scottish Cup, there'd be bigger questions getting asked. But this season, you're kind of thinking, right, it's a new season. They'll do really well this season, but the league form's been terrible. Like today, nobody's surprised that Motherwell won because Motherwell's having a great season. But nobody looked at that today and thought, Aberdeen's got a chance here. And I don't think Aberdeen have beat Motherwell at all this season so far. And they play them in the Cup on Wednesday at Pittodrie. Does anyone actually think Aberdeen's going to win that? Because right now, I wouldn't be betting for it.
Oh, so is that a game on Wednesday, aye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rearranged
the
games,
Cup
they got
game.
called off because of the thing.
My tip for the Scottish Trophy this year is Motherwell. I said at the start of the season, I predicted a Motherwell and Hearts final. But
Plymouth Queen's Park was still in the cup, by the way. You know,
I'm hoping that
you know what I'm saying?
I'm hoping that my Partick Thistle will go very far. But I mean, I've already said to Robbie that I'm going to get a price access for St Mirren against Partick Thistle. So I'll be seeing Robbie.
I can only get away with this on this channel, right? So I don't know if Reagan knows Anasawa because Anasawa says my Scotland on Monday. Reagan says my Partick Thistle. So there might be something going on there, Graham. I'm not one to spread any rumours at all, but I'm just, something smells a bit funny.
I mean, Reagan's just a massive football fan, isn't he? He just loves football.
You're right, Graham. Love all the teams. All of them are brilliant.
I mean, the thing is, it's Valentine's weekend, so he's saying my Thistle.
Spreading the love.
Yeah, okay. My Hearts, yeah, okay. Regular love. Yeah. But we beat England in the rugby. I can only get away with saying that on this channel. Nowhere else, Glenn. Let's move on to another game yesterday. Your neighbours won Hibs 2, St Mirren 0. Graham.
Yeah, good result for Hibs. You know, they always have to bounce back after that disappointing double defeat for them. Delighted for me. But by all accounts, I don't think St Mirren were great. Hibs deserved to win. Decent goal from Elding as well, and the other boys, Suto, scored. So it's a big win for Hibs. You know, I've seen a lot of Hibs fans say their season's finished because they're out both cups. They ain't going to get, well, they probably could get European football, but I still think they can have, again, like Motherwell, they can have a big stay in this title race as well. So I don't think it's over for David Gray. You know, I do think he's had an up and down season, but it's a big win for Hibs. You know, they can really put pressure on the teams above them, but they've got to start picking up more points. You know, Tuesday was an awful game, and I thought Hearts were terrible for most of it. But we got the win, and that's all you want in a derby game. So it was important for Hibs to bounce back. And fair play to them, they've done that. And I think especially when your new signings score, it does make a difference as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, Hibs are a bit of funny team this season, Reagan. They're like a wave. It's like up and down.
Yeah, Mexican wave, aye. I think that in terms of Hibs, I think they've got some good players. I like Dane Scarlett, obviously of Spurs as well. He won the Europa League last year. So I think they've actually recruited very well. I'm probably going to come out and say a controversial statement here, but I think it was actually the best thing for them to sell Bowie, because I don't think I was too impressed by him. I think he was okay, but when you say that he can make the step up to like a Rangers or a Celtic, I don't know if you agree, Graham, but he never kind of struck me as a kind of guy that could score the goals every game.
I think there was some games, like that Dunfermline game at East End Park in the Cup, he was 3-1-1. You've got to be scoring that chance, and he didn't take it. I still think he is still young. He's only 23. He's got a lot more to give in the game. And I don't think going to Italy is a bad move. You know, we've seen plenty of Scottish players go to Italy and thrive. He could do the same thing. I do think there are times I think he probably looks better when he doesn't have as much time. I think he's an instinctive striker. All you've got to do is look at the goal he scored in Europe from just over the halfway line. It was a brilliant finish. So I think he's more an instinctive striker. But going to Italy, I think, is a good move for him. And it gives Hibs decent money as well. You know, and to be fair to them, they look like they brought in some decent players. Dan Scarlett maybe wasn't great against Hearts. But from what I've seen so far before that game, he looks really good. He's got good up, he's got good hold up, he can run him behind. He looks a very good signing. And I thought the guy that played against Rangers, Kai Andrews, he looked very good.
Oh, Kai Andrews, what a player, aye.
So they have signed very well in January.
I mean, I never saw the game in Tuesday night, guys, the Edinburgh Derby. I know it was a big win for Hearts as well. But
another Valentine's Day for you, Michael. That's a bit
what's
early.
that?
I says, were you out doing a Valentine's Day or something? Like, what you
I would love to say I was, but I wasn't. I was working. Well, okay, right, okay. That never came across well. Reagan said Valentine's Day, Graham, and I was working, so that sorry. Okay, rewind that and let's start the show again. But no, I missed the game. But apparently Hibs were the better team.
There wasn't much in it. I thought Hearts were dreadful, but Derby games are about winning. I thought Hibs probably had more control second half. They had a couple of chances, but nothing major. But it was such a poor game. But I was so happy that Hearts got the win.
I mean, it just goes to show you that Reagan, that for weeks in the show we've been talking about St Mirren, when are they going to get the result, because they fell off a cliff after the cup win. They got the win off of Hearts, and you think, well, they're going to kick on now, but they've actually not.
No, and I think Graham will tell you, I think the only reason they got the win against Hearts is probably because I think Hearts is a kind of bogey team, isn't it, Graham?
Well, we're down to 10 well. We were down to 10 men for most of that game as well, which didn't help.
Aye, but you've not got a good record against St Mirren, Graham, as well.
No, and I don't know why that is. Our home record against them is pretty good, but for some reason we go to pace and we seem to collapse. I don't know why that is. It's such a weird thing. But I mean, I know Robbie did a video about this a couple of days ago that I saw. Some St Mirren fans were saying Robertson has to go, which I completely disagree with. He's done a fantastic job with St Mirren. He's won a cup, something St Mirren fans have not seen since 2013 when they won the League Cup last time. I think he's done a great job. But as it happens in football, you're going to lose games. But I think overall he's done a great job. They're having a bit of a dip just now. But like I said, they finished third. Well, they finished in the top 6 3 times in a row. I think now to say that Robinson should be sacked is a little bit premature.
Okay, let's go on to the last game of the weekend, Reagan. And we all thought this game was going to be a damp squib in the show on Friday. That's why we're on the show. We do brilliant predictions. And it was one of the games of the weekend, but the only difference was all the goals came in the first half in this one. Dundee 2, Livingston 2.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the scores yesterday. I was watching a bit of the Hibs game because I wanted to see how St Mirren were getting on. But I thought it was actually, see, as soon as I seen it was 2-0 to Dundee, I thought that's a big 3 point for Dundee. That's them going to be safe now. But no, I mean, fair play to Marvin Marley to get his first point as a manager in that match, because I think they go 2-0 down. But I tell you something, Mike, I was very impressed with him at Celtic Park on Tuesday night, because they started a game plan. They've got oh my God, they've got very tall players as well. So fair play to them, but I think it'll be too much for them this season.
I mean, Graham, it really surprises me. Like every season, you're thinking, how big can these Livingston players get? Every season, they're massive. Maybe that's why David Martindale moved up the stairs, because he was too wee.
Yeah, they are very, very big. They're very physical as well, but it doesn't seem to be helping them. Sitting bottom of the league, still not won a game since August. I mean, I haven't seen the after-match interviews, but if you're Stephen Presley, you must be raging. To be 2-0 up after 5 minutes and then concede 2 goals within the next 10 is it's pathetic. You've got to be doing a lot better than that. But it's a decent point for Livingston. It's not going to help. They are going to go down. I saw on Friday, I think it was, they signed Barry Mackay, the enigma that is Barry Mackay.
Yeah.
I think if they can get him playing and get him on form, he's a good signing. But he has to have the right attitude. But I don't think it's going to help. They are down. They won't win enough games to stay up. They are going to go down.
Or as Andy Halliday would say, Pedro Caixinha called him Robbie Mackay.
I mean, it's been an up and down season for Dundee, but I think most of the Dundee fans would be pretty happy with the job Stephen Presley did, Reagan.
Aye, but I think they'll be looking over their shoulder as well because they've got a resurgent team under Neil. They've got a St Mirren team that's looking over their shoulder as well. So I think they'll still be looking over their shoulder for the next few weeks as well. And I think that's how it makes it so interesting for us. But I think Stephen Presley's he's definitely done a better job than I thought he would, to be honest, Michael.
There you go. That is your weekend roundup, and so it's been a busy show.
That's shockingly no even mentioning McQueen's Park.
There you go. There you go, Graham. It's
or
all coming out.
Or Falkirk Dundee United.
You missed a game.
Oh yeah, okay. I was getting carried away there. Big win for Dundee United, Graham, and no one saw that coming. I think that was a shock of the weekend.
Yeah, it was, especially when Falkirk started the game so well. That sending off for Falkirk, I'm not sure. I think there's covering defenders there. I don't think he's going to score. I think it's quite harsh. I can see why it's given, but I think it's harsh. But it's a big win for Jim Goodwin. I think he had to pull something out of the hat there. And when you go 1-0 down, 2-1 down, and come back and win the game, it's a big, big win. But I don't think that'll derail Falkirk's season. They have been outstanding this season of John McGlynn. I'm kind of surprised that maybe Aberdeen haven't made a move for him, but it's a big win for Jim Goodwin. A win that I think he needed, because they have been, again, a bit up and down this season, United. You don't know what you're going to get with them, but it's a good win for them.
Graham, when you watched the show on Friday, would you make my prediction when I said John McGlynn for Scotland?
I don't think that's going to happen. I think I've said for a while now that I think if and when Steve Clarke goes, which he will eventually, I can see it being potentially Derek McInnes.
I think he goes after World Cup. So that's why for me, Graham, I'm definitely rolling out Derek McInnes, because I think if Hearts win the league, then he's not going to go anywhere.
He might decide I can't get better than that. I'll go to Scotland next.
I mean, Reagan, the Falkirk fans shouldn't be really annoyed, but annoyed they get beat yesterday, get home, but not annoyed because they've been magnificent, not only this season, but the 2 previous seasons.
I think they'll be annoyed genuinely about being 2-1 up and then getting a red card. And I've not seen the red card like Graham, but I take Graham's word for it. I appreciate his football opinion. But I'm sure Robbie's pal, Big Jim is. I'm sure Robbie's delighted. They managed to get 3 points. But
yeah, I think Robbie and Jim went out for a meal last night, Reagan.
Do you know a funny story, Michael? I actually seen Jim Goodwin a few years ago in Nando's. I think Michael just froze.
There you go. It wasn't that funny, Reagan. So yeah,
I'm surprised Reagan's not said my Jim.
My yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Not anymore, because I seen Jim and Nando's eating his food with his wife and that, and I thought, did I go over and say hello to him, or did I just leave him? I went, I'm just going to leave him.
I'm just going to leave my Jim tonight, Graham.
He's been through enough. But I mean, my Queen's Park, a big win for them, Michael.
Yeah.
A big
So I mean, John McGlynn's doing a brilliant job at Falkirk, Graham.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. Like, I think they probably will get top 6, and fair play to them. You know, at the start of the season, I didn't think they'd be in relegation trouble. I knew they'd be fine, but I didn't think they would go on to have as good a season as they have done. And of course, they're still in the Scottish Cup as well. I mean, what bet could they potentially win the Scottish Cup? You know, fair play to John McGlynn. He's done a fantastic job. He's getting the best out of a really good group of players, and they do play some good football as well. You know, I've said it already. I think the game at Tynecastle next week for Hearts is going to be difficult, but it's a game that I'll be looking at and thinking we should be taking 3 points from this. But it's going to be very difficult.
And as for Dundee United, Reagan, do you think that their season might good spell now after that good victory away at home, away at Falkirk?
I think in general, I think Jim's done a very good job in terms of stabilising the club. I think they've been through the past couple of years. They've been through a kind of yo-yo club championship, Premier League championship. But I think Jim's kind of stabilised the club and making sure they're there. I don't think the fans have got really expectation of being in the top 6 this year, because if you look at Motherwell, you look at obviously Falkirk, as I spoke about, those clubs are just far superior just now.
There you go. That is your football roundup today. Graham,
Still no mention of Queen's Park.
Graham, no, I just want to ask Graham a serious question here. Graham, is it Hearts or my Hearts?
Oh, it's my Hearts, of course it is.
Right, okay, that's fine.
Special on Valentine's weekend, that has to be my Hearts.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's great, yeah. Okay.
Is your heart still in it, Graham?
It's always still in a minute.
Just to remind you, coming up on the Wednesday night, we've got Craig Ferguson. He is walking to the US of A.
I'm not going to be on the show, Michael. I'm taking it off.
Yeah. And then on the 2nd of March, we've got a show about St Johnson as well, so that'll be fun.
Michael, I can't be on that show either because I'm my party for sure in the battle with St Johnson.
Well, there you go. Who makes love when you've got Reagan? That's all tonight. We're going to lie down and get Reagan's.
Still no mention of Queen's Park. That's terrible, you know. Big win for them. A big goal. A big goal.
On you go. You've got about 1 second, so on you go.
A big goal from Matty Shields. Make sure that Queen's Park get the 1-0 victory. Yeah, a big goal.
By the way, I was kicking on. We've got more than 1 second, but yeah, on you go.
I watched the highlights this morning. Queen's Park, very good. Probably should have been about 3 goals up at half time, but fair play to Sean and the boys. A big 3 points.
Megan, I think the big question me and Graham wants to know is that, see, when you're my Queen's Park plays packet fizzle, who would you want to win the game?
Oh my God, but they're just enjoying the game,
eating a pie.
And if anybody else wants a week in my tag, then they can just get in touch with me, and I'll.
Yeah.
A what pie?
Oh no, a tag. Sorry, not pie.
It's a pie for a
tag.
No pie, no.
Oh well, okay.
Anyway, big win for Queen's Park on Valentine's Day.
Okay, so thanks for watching. I don't know what to say next. We'll be back on Wednesday night, and then we'll be back on Thursday for the Celtic Stuttgart game. And Reagan will be there because he'll be away to my darts at the Highground Grass as well. I don't know what the point of that is.
You're watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reactions